The Middle Ages. This picture describes feudalism. The king grants land to the barons, provides money and knights. The barons grant land to the knights and provide protection and military service. The knights grant lands to the villeins, who provide food and services when demanded. Feudal relationships. After contact with Muslim cavalry, Charles Martel looks to create a similar force, but it's very expensive. To support cavalry, Charles Martel grant theft or estates with peasants to his knights. System of granting thefts became basis of feudalism. Feudalism is like a pyramid with king at top. Each lord is a vassal, knights are on the bottom. Feudal obligations. Homage is a ceremony that officially linked lords and vassals. After theft, vassals pledged to perform certain duties. The most important duty was military service. Vassals provided knights for the king for 40 to 60 days a year. These served in the lord's court to provide food and lodging for the lord. Castles for defense. Castles were built for defense against enemies. The first castles were wooden buildings with high fences of logs and mounds of earth. In AD 1100, castles were made of stone. Baileys were buildings with barracks, storerooms, workshops, and chapels. Keeps were the strongest part of the castle, and they had many rooms, a hall, and a dungeon. Life of nobility. Lords and noblemen had total authority to control, collected rents and goods from peasants, settled disputes between his vassals. Outside attempts to seize land or control the inhabitants of his fief was met with violent resistance. Ladies or noblemen had few, if any, rights. Noblewomen could be married as early as her 12th birthday. Her primary duties lay in bringing up her children and taking care of the household, making medicines, and sometimes supervising the land when the land was away. Entertainment. Tournaments or mock battles between knights showed knights' abilities. Hunting, archery, and falconry were other pastimes. Great feasts provided food and music and socialization. Becoming a knight. Nobleman's son began training for a knighthood at age 7. At 15, they became a squire. Once he had proven himself in a battle, a squire becomes a knight. They will follow the code of chivalry, which promotes bravery, fairness, courtesy, and defend the church. The manual system. Wealth of feudal lords come from work of peasants who farmed the land. In Middle Ages economies based on manualism, where lords grant land to peasants who farm the land. Peasant and lords benefit from manorial system because they each get food, shelter, and protection. Manor consisted of lord's house, pastures, fields, forests, and peasant's village. Work on a manor. Peasant is exchange duties for protection. A peasant's duties might include good or labor. Manors were self-sufficient, leading to a variety of local occupations such as farming, herding, blacksmith, carpenter, shoemaker, miller, vintner, brewer. Women often made candles, sheared sheep, spun wool, or sewed. Peasants rarely left. Most were serfs or people tied to the land, but not slaves. This is a picture of peasant life. It shows the town they lived in and where they had the crops planted. This is a picture of the castles that were built in AD 1100. They were used for protection from invaders. Increased production. The manual system normally produced only enough food to support the peasants and the lord's household. The first improvement was the development of a heavier type of plow. The plow meant less time in the fields and developed a better method for planting. They used a three-field system. It helped them because it produced more crops and held precious soil. Peasant life. Most peasants lived 40 years old. There was extreme danger of famine and diseases. Invading knights and trampled crops, burned villages, and caused famines and loss of life. Serfs lived in tiny one-room houses with dirt floors, no chimney, and only had one or two stools. Peasants enjoyed dancing, singing, wrestling, archery, religious plays, pageants, and shows by ministers. They had little food. They ate coarse bread, a few vegetables from gardens, porridge, and rarely had meat. Assessment question. What age does a nobleman's son start training to become a knight? 7 years old. Credits. Narrator, videographer Antonio, author and slider Nicole, illustrator and editor Jimmy, and scribe and director Micayla.